It's three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
Who's ready for some dumb football questions?
I
Gentlemen?
am. It's week one, dude. I'm ready for anything.
Fucking go time. Give me something spicy.
Some DFQs.
I need to get in trouble.
All right.
No, you don't. It's week one. We don't need you in jail yet.
I think you might get in trouble because my first question. I'm going to throw out this. By the way, new format.
New format.
The 2024 season. So we're giving you 2 full episodes early in the week, sort of usually a recap of whatever happened, week 1, 2, 3, and then a dumb football questions episode where we're going to start with usually a couple of my own dumb football questions, and then audience will mix in yours from the YouTube comment section. So click that like button and the subscribe button on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel if you haven't already. Apple and Spotify, the best thing you can do is give us a 5-star rating and a positive review, and tell a few of your football-loving friends about the O-Line Committee here. These guys have spent collectively 16 years in the NFL trenches. I spent some time in the 8th grade trenches, I think on the B team. So here's the first dumb football question. Is Ricky Pearsall already the toughest player in the National Football League? The first round pick wide receiver.
Unbelievable.
He was shot. So by the way, this can be a Niners discussion here too, guys. Trent Williams, it sounds like just getting the deal done. But so Ricky Pearsall was shot by a 17-year-old robber in San Francisco. And according to police, Pearsall fought back and apparently shot the dude with his own gun. And then blood pouring out of his chest. Apparently no major organs were affected, but he was shot, in the chest through the back.
Thank God.
While bleeding like crazy, he walked himself over to an ambulance after taking care of business, and he's going to be out for the first month of the season at least. But holy cow, Ricky Pearsall.
That's incredible.
I mean, when it first broke, all I saw was that he got shot in the chest. Like, there was no other news. And I was like, dude, he might die. Like, you talk about a chest cavity, and the fact that it went through and hit none of the vital organs is, it's a literal act of God.
Yeah.
So thankful that young man's okay. But talk about, I think it was over a Rolex too. Like, I think I read something that was over a Rolex. First of all, I'm giving the dude the Rolex.
Just ask. Just ask. Just ask me.
Here you go, dude. Don't shoot me in the chest, please. Like, this is not. And so, first of all, he'll probably learn that lesson, but it also just goes to show you, how anything at the blink of a moment can change. And I'm just so thankful that young man's okay. And it also just goes back to, that's why I don't want to live in California. It's not a fun place to be right now. San Fran's not an awesome place to live.
Yeah, it was sketchy. Even when we went back out there
worse.
last, it's not.
Dude, it's one of the most. I have family out there. Beautiful settings with the ocean and Alcatraz and everything. It's like,
dude, he was at Union Square, which is the middle of the city. It's literally in the middle of the city where they do all the skating, and then there's all the nice Gucci stores and Louis Vuitton, which is just insane. But yeah, that's one tough motherfucker. I saw the video of him walking. He's like holding his chest, like, here. Let me sit here. I was like, this dude is actually acting way too calm right now for being shot in the chest. That is fucking insane. Dude, badass receiver for sure. But more importantly, and I have to get to it, the Trent Williams signing. Can't talk about the number 1 NFL offensive tackle without saying congratulations on the new contract. And I cannot fucking tell you how excited that team is going to be to see you, because that one guy right now is holding a lot of cards. And he was rightfully
and he
so.
won.
He should have. Dude, I'm telling you, that's what we've said before. Jamar Chase, you make a great point. You're one of the best on the team. Without you, the team doesn't look the same. You're just in a different situation. This guy's old as fucking knows, hey, listen, without me, you guys suck. You're going to pay me more. Why? Because 3 guys jumped my contract, and I'm not dealing with this shit. And people aren't telling me I'm soft and I'm a pussy, and I'm not dealing with this. So I'm happy for him. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this team does, especially because the Niners, that was my biggest question mark. After watching their first couple preseason games, quarterback play was just, they were getting annihilated.
The question is, can they move on from what was the drama of the 2024 offseason?
Yeah.
Right? From the word go, from the second they lost in the Super Bowl, right? It was drama, 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 from Aiyuk to is Purdy the guy, to all this stuff. What's going to happen? Is Trent Williams is now holding out? What do we draft? What's Bosa going to do? What's Fred Warner? Oh, Dre Greenlaw still blew his Achilles, right? Like, there's just been drama, drama, drama. And we talk about it on the show a lot. Distractions are really hard to overcome to win games in the NFL. when the razor thin margin of winning and losing is what it is, one thing can make a difference. I'm really curious to see how the leaders on this football team, the GM, the head coach, can say, okay, all that is now behind us. Like, can we not carry any of that drama over into the season? And can we truly go into week 1 feeling like we're ready to go and we're still in our Super Bowl window? Really curious to see if that's actually possible to do in San Fran this year, including now you've got players getting shot. Right? There's just drama, drama. Like, there's so much going on. I'm really curious to see what the mindset of this team is going into week 1.
I'm not, though. And here's why. Because if I know John well enough to know that he's going to walk into that room and be like, all you motherfuckers better be happy now. And now you win. You go out and you win, or you will all suffer the worst wrath possible. Promise you. And that's an easy thing. There are no more distractions. Yeah, our receiver got shot in the chest downtown. That was unfortunate and crazy act. But other than that, we've signed both of our players. We're back as a team. Christian McCaffrey's back to practice. We are officially green to go. There are no, like, media coming in. How does it feel? There's no going to be like, fuck, we're screwed. It's going to be like, oh, we're going to be so excited to see Trent. We're so excited to see Brandon. Like, there's nothing but positivity. This, in my opinion, is a win for John Lynch. You went in the offseason, and there was a lot of things that fucking happened. And now all of a sudden you're walking away going, okay, we paid you to, now shut up and go to work. And you better catch the fuck out of the ball, and you better hurt people. This is the end. We're going to talk about this. Now go out and do it. And the Brock Purdy shit, they're going to deal with that until he goes out and fucking does it. Until he goes out and just shuts up enough people. That's part of being in the NFL. It's part of being a quarterback. If you consider that a distraction, you don't belong in this league. But I could see 2 holdouts being like, yeah, that's drastic. That's killing our team right now. But now it's like, no, you got nothing. And you're in a really tough division because you know how I feel about the Rams. I think Seattle's going to be tough. Like, you got to go out and prove it now. And if you don't prove it, then all of a sudden people are going to turn around and go, what the fuck? We did exactly what everyone thought we should, and we failed.
So what do you, because right now this is going to be Kyle Shanahan's 8th season already. Time flies, holy cow. Sure 8th season as head coach of the Niners. And right now it feels very much like Andy Reid's tenure with Philadelphia back in the early 2000s, where that team was right there every year, banging on the door, NFC championship games, Super Bowl loss, and ultimately it fizzled. And then Andy had to go somewhere else, Kansas City, to go on his Super Bowl runs. How do you guys think the 49ers Kyle Shanahan story progresses here? Does this feel like, man, they missed a couple golden chances and now it's going to go into a reset mode at some point in the next couple of years? Or do you think they sustain it and they pay it off with a Super Bowl?
You've got 2 more years to win a Super Bowl, and then that team's going to have to get restructured completely.
But that's a long time.
It is a long time, but I do think we're in that window.
Oh, yeah, you're in a window.
They've been in that window for 4 years now. So you're on the tail end of that window, because the lucky thing for them is they lucked out on a 7th round pick quarterback. Right. If they don't luck out on Brock Purdy and they have to go buy a big time quarterback to run this offense, this team already would have had to blown up in a few spots. Yep. But they lucked out on the fact that this Mr. Irrelevant can drive this car and not wreck it. And they have 2 more years of that before. There's a lot of big names on that team that need to get paid. A lot of big names. You saw Trent, you saw Aiyuk. Kittle's deal is probably going to start getting restructured here in a year or so. Purdy's going to need to get paid. Bosa's still on that team. Fred Warner's still on that team. There's still a lot of guys on that team that are command and playing at the top of their game and command a lot of money. You've got 2 more years before. If you don't win a Super Bowl in 2 more years, a lot of those guys are going to go elsewhere to try and win a Super Bowl, in my opinion.
If Pearsall can play, now you can maybe trade or say goodbye to. They just signed Aiyuk, but if you find that Pearsall comes back for the second half of the season, we don't really know. But if he can play, all of a sudden now you could trade Debo or right.
Yeah, it'll be curious, but I think they got
Plus
2 more
Christian's
years.
making a ton of money. There's a lot of pieces. Jay's right. The only saving grace you have in this is that your quarterback is extremely cheap. Now here's the problem. If he comes back next year, say he comes out and has a badass year and comes back next year and is like, I want to get paid, then you're in a really big fucking deal. Then, John, I sympathize. I don't want to know what you're going to do because you're going to have to do something. But
you're in the Bills situation from this year where they're $50 million over the cap going into March.
Which did not end well. That was an execution for a lot of people, and people that probably didn't deserve to get fired. But that's the name of the game, is trying to pay the quarterback the last possible point, because the minute you sign a $400 million contract, everybody else takes that much of a reduction, and everyone's like, well, I'm the number one player at my position, and I'm getting paid the 15th highest paid salary. So I'm going to leave and go where I should be wanted. And it's the business sometimes rears its ugly head, man. But yeah, I agree. 2 years, you're in your window, and then after that, you're screwed.
Yeah. Okay. From listener Harambe. Harambe chimes in.
Ooh,
in
Harambe.
the YouTube comment section.
R.I.P.
So I know on the episode that we just did, the Who's the Mic and the hot take questions, we just did a steak and a beer on how good Saquon Barkley could be for the Eagles. But Harambe asks, with Jason Kelce now being retired, it got me thinking, what does a team leader of that caliber retiring do to a locker room? Does it cause a sad shift in the team's energy to see a player like that go? So specifically to the Eagles, how will it matter? And then in general, in your experience, when you lose a central figure like that, what happens in a locker room?
I think with him walking away under his own decision is very different than releasing a leader like that. When a leader like that gets released for either cap reasons or old or whatever it is, that can be more of the like, man, we really miss that guy, right? Yeah. Like we really miss having that guy around. But the way that Jason did it, I mean, coming back for another year after everyone thought he was going to leave, laying it all on the line, I think everyone can go, wow, what a great guy. How lucky we are to have him. Let's just play let's play and like he's going to be around. Like, let's play like he left it here. There's no sadness. It's excitement for him of what he left and how you move on. It's a totally different feeling when a guy retires on his own power versus getting released.
And I think guys are very happy for a guy like that, especially because, like Jay said, it's not a lot of us get to go out on our own terms. So when someone's very like, hey, guys, listen, I've been doing this a long time. I'm really beat up. Nobody goes, well, this is bullshit. Or, man, I really miss that guy. Everyone's like, dude, you think he's having fun? Like, I remember thinking a lot of times, you think he's having fun right now while we're getting yelled at? You think he's just sitting doing nothing? And you find out they're not. But at the same time, there's no, oh, man, we lost a big leader. Like, I was excited to hear that he picked his successor. Like, I think that's a team starting to understand, like, this guy's really smart. We should find out what he likes, what he's looking at in a player. So for him to pick Cam Jurgens makes me excited about the offensive line. And once again, you have so many leaders on that team. I mean, Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson. He's just one funny guy that left the building. And we were all sad to see funny guys leave. But at the same time, you're excited because you know he walked out on his own power. He did his thing, got his Super Bowl, and he's rolling out.
Did he make more money podcasting with this recent deal than he did in his NFL career?
I'm gonna look
for sure.
I mean, he never got paid huge money. Like he was
3 years, 24. I'm just gonna see.
I mean, it wasn't like he reset the market for centers. I don't think. I could be wrong in saying that.
So he did make $82 million in his career, which for a center is probably the most a center's ever made.
But he played 13 years. I mean, that's
like
not like
$7-6 million a year.
I mean, Creed Humphrey just signed 4 years for 72. Right. So I mean, it's not like he made huge center market money, but
centers didn't make a lot back then.
He also just made $50 million off a podcast he started 2 years ago.
Yeah. They also had a deal before this one too. Like I think this is the second deal that they've had for crazy money, man.
Crushing.
Jason Wasmond asks in the YouTube comment section, what was your routine or things that got you guys hyped for each game? Did you have a song or anything you did before the game? Like superstitions? What was your
Boone, you can go first because I was very routine oriented. Like I can take you from the moment I woke up until kickoff. Every game. Every single game.
The whole day. Woke up, took a shower, got dressed, looked over the playbook, went downstairs, had lunch, got on the bus, joked with the guys, went over, got in the hot tub, joked around with the guys again, went back, studied the plays again, went on the field, did my warm-ups, my stretches, took exactly 10 kicks, got off the field. Went back in, always taped my right fingers first, the right side of my hand first. So like thumb in, and then I'd go to the left, and then I did my right wrist, my left wrist. If I did it opposite, I had to redo it. I had the same guy put my shoulder pads on, and we always went to the third loop, and then he would always punch me in the chest afterwards. I always had to listen to a certain song before I walked out, and I had to time it up perfectly. Because remember, the guys in the locker room would be like, 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes. I'd be like, perfect, 4 minutes, start the song, boom. Because once the song hit 0, I wanted to throw them out and just walk out and start headbutting shit, dude. It had to always
Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On" or what?
Dude, it was a lot of that was like when Eminem was going through his phase. It was like Berserker and stuff like that. Like there were some crazy songs on there. A lot of what was the old Jay, you'll know this, the old EDM Skrillex, ton of Skrillex on there.
Skrillex.
Like there was a lot of craziness. But it was fun because I feel like once you were on the team for a little bit, you could find out everybody's routine, and guys would eventually stay away from you because they'd be like, okay, he's in his routine, or you'd know when to go over and talk to somebody because you'd be like, okay, they're not studying or they're not listening to music, they're just chilling. But the worst was when guys would come over and you have your earbuds in and they'd like be like, hey, can I borrow tape? And you'd be like, take your earbud out. What? Can I borrow some tape? Like, dude, walk to the fucking training room. It's right there. Like, God, fucking turn this song off. Restart it now. Like, that shit used to drive me nuts. But the biggest thing that we always had to do, and this was always fun, was the sniffers. You always had to pop some. You always had to take a couple road sodies with you.
Which you still need to do, Mac. Alive, we need to get you
the smelling salts.
The smelling
dude,
salts.
the ammonia.
Yes, we should order some.
As soon as the
get them on
doors would
Amazon.
kick, dude, you would just crack one and you were good for like the next 5 minutes, dude. You were like, I'm ready to go. And it was great because the warm-ups were always like the first couple warm-ups where you were just banging dudes. And so you'd be out there fucking going at it. And the worst too, and I don't know if you felt like this, Jay, was when you would go out there, right? We always had this routine with the D linemen. I want to see a good move. Do not beat me, right? I might be trying something crazy. I just want to see a good get off. I'm going to get in front of you. I'm not even going to touch you. I just want to see it, right? And these motherfuckers would come out and they'd hit you with them, and you'd just be like, well, now I don't feel comfortable. Now I don't feel comfortable at all today. And it would fuck with my mind so because you get like a young dude. Like I remember when we were in Frisco, it was Tony Girardetti. Because Justin was the same way. He'd be like, Jay, Justin, they'd be like, don't touch me. I don't want to be touched. Let's just get off. But then you'd get Tony Girardetti, and he'd come off the ball and hit a spin on you, and you'd be like, nope. I'm not defending this today. Like I'm not dealing with this shit. But in my mind, it would fuck with me. So like I'd have to go and be like, I need another one now. And it drove me nuts. Like when you fuck with someone's routine on game day, you're an evil person. You are a terribly evil person, and I don't feel bad for what happens to you. But I do love you, Tony. Tony Girard is the best.
God, even like the way when you talk about being in the locker room and 6 minutes. 5 minutes
because you can't hear right?
It reminds me of like Russell Crowe in The Gladiator. Just like you hear the crowd.
Oh yeah,
you feel your heart is beating. I mean, just
so
that
hard.
Feeling.
It's going right. And then you'd see your boy over there, and maybe he didn't get the 3-minute sign, and he's kind of curled up in a huddle in his locker, and you're kind of like, does he know? Does he not know? And you're like, hey, 3 minutes, and he gives you the fuck you sign, and you're like, all right, man, got it. Just let you know, right? Like, but the best was too when you would walk out at the Viking Stadium, you'd walk right out into the fans. So as soon as the doors opened, it was people just going crazy, and you were just like, dude, take it all and like inject it in my fucking veins. I've got goosebumps right now. It's so fun. Running out on the field, nothing will beat running out on the field ever.
No. It's the best feeling of all time.
I think running out of Candlestick was the best though, because you'd come out of the third base dugout and you'd like go up the steps, and then you'd come out of it just insane.
Answer me this, Boone. I don't know. I still feel like I would if I could run out of a stadium one more time, it would be in Memorial for Huskers. Like, and I don't know about you for the shoe, but like, dude, running out to a packed house night game in Memorial Stadium in college. Like the atmosphere is just so different than an NFL game. Like if I could strap it on one more time and they said, what do you want to do? Give me a November night game in Memorial Stadium, a Big Ten game against Ohio State or Wisconsin or something. I would take that one more time if I could compared to going out in the NFL.
A Big Ten game against Oregon. A Big Ten game against
UCLA, USC, Washington.
Dude, you guys might have a quarterback.
We have quarterback, man.
I wanted to text Jay.
He's cosplaying a little bit. He is Patrick Mahomes, diet Patrick Mahomes.
I wanted to text Jay as soon as they won and be like, you guys still suck. But I didn't know how he would respond.
You're not going to beat
Ohio State.
You couldn't knock me down. You couldn't knock me down on Sunday, baby. Huskers won finally.
I will say this, dude. The minute that we ran out from Ohio State, my junior year, we played in Michigan. We were 1 and they were 2, and it was a night game. We ran out that night, and it was insane. I agree with you. College atmosphere, because you get the college kids in the corner that are just so different, raging. Oh, it was different. But Candlestick put a really tough. Candlestick was different, dude.
No, I mean Minnesota was great, but I mean there was nothing. I mean we did the tunnel walk at Nebraska, right? Like so you come out and we have this big long red carpet that would lead up to the gates that used to be closed before you run out. And you'd come through and it's lined with people, and then you turn the corner and the gates would open and you were staring directly at the student section. And like there was this big red like stencils on the concrete above that says I play for Nebraska. And dude, it was just like, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Like, it was just the coolest thing ever. And I still, to this day, I wish I could do it one more time. One more freaking time.
That's exactly what it's like watching a Gopher football game too at Huntington Bank Stadium.
Don't get me started.
The only Big Ten team to not win in the opener. And then guess what they did? They kicked the field goal and lost and missed. And guess what that Pyro team did? Send the fireworks.
Yeah. Gonna be a long one, I think.
Wow.
It's gonna be a tough year.
Okay.
Go ahead. We don't need to go. My routine takes forever. We'll go into it. We'll do a different time.
We'll do a different day. Okay. We want your pre-podcast routine next week too. That's what we want. You get
that's a good
psych
one.
yourself up.
Lunch.
Okay. This next dumb football question is from me again.
Some water.
Modelo.
Some lunch.
Mow the lawn, Modelo.
Maybe a little turkey jerky. Okay. These 8 teams are projected to be the worst record-wise in the NFL this year, according to like the Vegas pundits.
Yep.
I'm going to give you these 8 teams. You guys tell me which of these 2 teams are most likely to surprise.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Giants, Raiders, Titans, Vikings, Commanders, Broncos. I mean, Boone and I put the Broncos in the playoffs. Panthers and Patriots. Which of those 8?
Mine is obviously Broncos, but I'm also going to say Commanders. I like Jaden Daniels, and I think he's special. I think he can do some things. Dan Quinn on defense. It's the same thing we just talked about. Dan Quinn's a great defensive coordinator. I think he's a great head coach, right? Like, some guys just get it, and I think that this is going to be something really good for them. I'm going to say Commanders and Broncos.
The homer in me wants to say the Vikings. It does. But I think this offense is going to be just fine. I think the offense, I'm really not concerned about the offense. There's too many weapons. I mean, Justin Jefferson, you'll get Addison back when he's healthy. I think Aaron Jones is still a
Addison, full participant, it looked like.
Was
too,
he?
By the way.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you'll have him, right? You'll have Aaron Jones at running back, who I think is very talented. You'll get Hawk back at one point in the year. I think that the offense, but I just can't. It's hard for me to staple on them with the defense. It's going to be tough. I think
they were like
15th
in scoring last year.
But towards the end of the year, people figured them out. And unless Flores can revamp, I mean, you lose Daniil Hunter, you're putting a lot of stock in rookie coming out of Bama, right? To get
Dallas
to the quarterback, Dallas Turner.
Which is easier to do because defensive players don't have so much to think about.
They don't have as much, but
Dallas,
it's just
give me the ball.
I worry about our ability to, with Sam Darnold, can we get into, like we did with Kirk last year, a track meet? And can we keep up with the track meet? We'll know a lot after week 1. Right, but I think the Vikings are a dark horse to be a 9-10 win team this year. There's a chance if they can put it all together. And then the team, again, I'm really curious about is the Raiders. The Raiders are another one. I mean, defensively, they're great. They've got a lot of things going for them. And Gardner Minshew last year took that Colts team to a play-in in, right? They were playing into the playoffs last year. They ended up losing the last game.
They got unlucky with tiebreakers at the very end.
But I mean, he led that team really well. He won the quarterback spot there. You talk about he's got Devontae Adams. I am curious, like the Raiders and the Vikings on that list for me are the 2 teams that I think could really surprise people and become, instead of like the lowest win total, be closer to a 9-10 win team knocking on the door of a wild card spot.
Yeah. I mean, the Vikings defense, and again, I think they sniff around like 8-9 wins. I don't know if they make the playoffs, but I think their edge rusher room actually got better despite losing Daniil Hunter. Hunter's, if you grouped all the edge rushers together that they acquired and lost, Hunter's the best. But Jonathan Grenard had like 14 sacks last year. Andrew Van Ginkel, just a Swiss Army knife, comes from that Flores Miami system. And then, Dallas Turner. So I actually think they might. The question is, can they play more man coverage on the back end now that they have Stephon Gilmore? Or is with Gilmore and Shaq Griffin, are they just aging cornerbacks that are going to be problematic? Right. Like, we don't know how much gas they have left in the tank. So, there's
a lot on that. I agree. And there is a lot of strategy that goes into it. So it kind of falls on Brian, which is a lot of work for Brian because there's constantly like moving pieces and parts and being like, all right, now this week we're going to change this up. And this one little nuance will end up messing up our offense. So that's a lot of pressure on him. Do I think that I'm the opposite. I'm less worried about the defense because I think that his defense is actually really exciting because it's just a big who the fuck is coming and who's not. And it's always kind of a who's who guessing game. I think it's more the offense that I think is going to struggle. I mean, I think you have playmakers everywhere, yeah, but I really wish JJ McCarthy was back there. I really do.
Yeah, we have to wait 13 months now, boys.
Way to go, Larson. God damn it. Jeremiah's laughing because he already knows who I'm talking about.
It's worth it.
It fucking better be.
It's worth it.
Last thing for you guys, because I know we got to run here in a minute, but ECCMN says, I've got a question for you guys. My godson is starting his first year of football, playing offensive line for sure, maybe some defensive line. Do I get him gloves or is no gloves the way to go? What are the pros versus the cons for youth football? What did you guys do? By the way, he's 6'2", 270 pounds in 7th grade. Shout out Brody.
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 Get used to playing on the line, first of all.
No gloves.
6'2",
No gloves.
270.
But you're not allowed
grade?
to wear gloves until you get to college. That was the rule. Dude, you wearing gloves in high school? Who the hell's got that kind of money?
Kids.
You kidding me? No.
Hey, the cutter special, dude. You could go find those cutter gloves. They smell so bad by the end of the year because you got one pair. My dad would go, I'll get you one pair of gloves every year. Right. And half the time they'd be ripped and you just like tape them together. Like you'd have taped on your gloves. But I was always a gloves guy just because my hands would be hamburger meat.
Oh, yeah.
Like you ends up you just get cuts and like all kinds of nonsense. It wasn't even about like looking cool for me. It was just like I didn't want cuts all over my hand all the time from just getting crushed. So I think it's fine to wear gloves, but dude, get used to putting your hand on the dirt and get after it.
Dude, you got to callous those hands a little bit. Don't be wearing gloves in youth football. None of my old linemen wear gloves in youth.
Johnny doesn't have gloves?
Johnny does, but he's my tight end.
See, you just counteracted
Johnny
yourself.
plays tight end. He's not 225 pounds. He's not.
Dude,
he's not my
this
guard.
dude's 270 pounds.
My tackle to tackle, those dudes don't wear gloves. And if they did, I'd probably laugh at them a little bit. But yeah, when you get older, you want to wear them. Because do you remember when you would like smack your thumb and you'd be like, oh, that hurt real bad. And then you'd look down, there'd just be blood coming into the white cloth. And you'd be like, thank God I'm wearing a glove right now. It's holding my thumbnail on.
Yeah.
This is just going to slip. And then you would forget about it, right?
And you just feel it. And then when you pull the glove off,
you'd be like, oh my God, dude. Oh, you'd look at it.
You wouldn't even remember. You'd pull. I had one time I thought it, completely forgot about it, and I pulled the glove off, and it took my nail with it.
Yeah,
and I was just like, oh, and you looked at it like, yeah, I forgot that happened in the first quarter, right? You're like, oh shit.
And then you think about like there was a couple times after the game I looked, and you'd have like the leather was slashed open, and you'd be like, thank God that wasn't my fucking palm. What did I hit? Holy shit! Like you're looking at it, like pulling it open, like. The fuck did I cut myself on? Like they're Matt in the NFL, you need to wear gloves. Like Matt Burke was a fucking psycho. And I remember we were playing him in the Super Bowl. Shout out Matt Burke. I would have voted for him too for lieutenant governor. Great guy. And I remember looking over at somebody and I go, does that center not have gloves on? And they're like, oh yeah, that's Matt Burke. I was like, that guy's a fucking savage. And he would just manhandle people with these massive paws. Dude, I could not imagine not wearing leather over my hands. That was a must. And I was a pussy. I needed new gloves like all the time. I hated because when I would wear the too tight gloves, so I'd wear like an XL and I just pull them as hard as I could over my fingers because I wanted it all to be super tight. So by the end of the game, they'd be like pulling out, they'd be ripping out. So I'd have to throw them away. EQ would get so mad. They'd be like, dude, how many fucking gloves are you going through, dude? What are you saving the money for something? What the fuck? What are we saving money around here? What the fuck? Buy me new gloves.
The thumbnail graveyard that is offensive line football gloves, man. So yeah, keep hitting us up with your dumb football questions. We've got some space to explore carved out for you guys during the fall, and yeah, welcome to football season, boys. It is officially,
film breakdowns are back next week.
Hey, real quick prediction for Thursday.
Kansas City.
Well,
wins.
this is going to be official because
I know this is official. I'm just throwing it on you right now.
Kansas City wins.
Ravens.
Kansas City.
Okay, here we go.
I have a hot Kansas City take too that I want to unleash. I want to see week 1 first, and then
oh damn!
I love it, man.
All right, boys, we got to run. This is the O-line committee. Alex Boone, Jeremiah Sirles, Phil Mackey. See you guys.